Well, that kind of leads us into this next part of the conversation. This is what I'm especially excited about. Can you share with me what you think, in your opinion, how the flying experience will change in the next 20 years?
So yeah, what did that's a good question. And I like that one. What did I say here? So, and just my opinion here, but I think that with COVID, that really did something to the industry where it forced airlines to cut. And now obviously they're building back up, but it forced airlines to cut back on their service, cut back on the routes, everything like that. And I think it really forced them to reevaluate how they do business. And I think that you're going to see less frills, make it a little bit more just a simple experience. Like back in the day, in the 60s and 70s, flying was considered a luxury. And if you look back, if you look up like aircraft interiors from the 60s and 70s, I mean, huge lounge chairs, even in economy class, and hot meals on even short flights. Now the consumer is so price focused and oriented is that airlines are looking to make things, I think, as cheap as possible while still making it a little bit comfortable. But when I say no frills, is that I think you're going to see them cut back on, say, like first class and those super nice first class seats that a lot of the airlines had, because people just don't want to pay for them anymore, and they just they're just focused. The majority of the people are just focused on who can get me there for the cheapest price, the quickest. And I mean, every airline, they fly roughly the same speed, so there's it's not like one airline can get you there quicker than the other usually. So with that happening, I really see in the next 10 to 15 to 20 years that airlines are really going to focus more on, like I said, less frills, and focus on the leisure traveler more than the business traveler. Because I think that's one thing that COVID has done, is it's shown or presented the opportunity for just businesses in general to be like, oh, hey, wait, exactly like what you and I are doing right now.
Yeah,
we can conduct this meeting via Zoom. And I don't have to pay $500 or $1,000 for my employee to fly across the country and meet with this person in person. We can just do it like this. And so I think that's gonna hurt the airlines, because that has traditionally been a big moneymaker for them, are these people that fly for a living and make these trips once, twice, 3 or 4 times a week, however many times a week. And even if it's just, say, 20 to 25% of these people that don't fly anymore, that just do Zoom meetings, I mean, that's a huge chunk of the airline's business that they're going to be missing out on. So how are they going to make up for that? Well, they're going to try to get the leisure traveler out more. And with that, they're not going to pay these first class fares. They're going to pay these coach class fares, excuse me. And I really think that, like I said, there's going to be less bling when it comes to, like, the fancy first class seats. They'll still be there, but I don't think it's going to be quite as centered around that as it is for the leisure traveler.
Okay.
That's
what about like airport operations, or like facility? How will that change in the next 20 years?
I think, as I mentioned already, I think the technology aspect of it is going to change things the most. There might be some things that the FAA comes out with in the next 10 to 20 years where it might make things a little bit safer. But as a whole, the world of aviation is pretty safe. Now, it's not perfect. We're always striving to get to that point. But if you look at recent history in aviation, it's been a lot safer than, you even go back just 50 years to the 60s and 70s. And I really think that the technology aspect of it is going to change the most. And aside from, like I mentioned, with like the tablets and the phones and being able to do things from your car. I think the passenger experience is going to become more technologically friendly. For example, like biometric readers that they've already started going into airports, where literally you don't have to present your boarding pass. You get to the gate and there's a reader that will scan your face, and it'll say, "Oh, you're Matt Anhalt. Okay, you've got a ticket on this flight. You're good to go." It's already happening. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah, it's already happening. In fact, we were talking about Atlanta. I know Delta Airlines is doing that in Atlanta. And I think other airlines like American and United they've started it, or they're looking into it and going to be starting it soon. But
Okay.
it's things like that that are the future of flying. And I
Yeah.
think that even before that, you're going to have a lot of automation where you can just self tag your bag at the ticket counter. You put it on the belt,
Mhm.
and a computer or will run the belt automatically and get your bag to the airplane.
Hmm.
So with automation, I think, yeah, it's in our lifetime. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. And again, that's behind the scenes stuff, but
Yeah.
it's the beginning of it right now.
I certainly see like more screens, more like just an update of like everybody, people's phones and tablets are such a part of their lives that I see USB outlets and I see all these different areas for people to use all these technological devices as well.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um,
And believe it or not, there's actually, I saw this recently within the last couple of months that some companies have already started making these robots that essentially will take your bag. If you have a carry-on bag, they'll take it for you and will via GPS go to your gate, so you don't have to carry your bag. It'll take it there for you. It's
wow.
pretty wild. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy, but that's the future. It's here. It's happening. So
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty crazy.